Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with another episode of the Strafing Run. And today's background footage consists of LSPDFR as well as Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer, a game and a mod that I've done first impressions videos for. I'll have those linked in the description below. If you've missed out on those, highly suggest you check them out, especially the LSPDFR one, because it goes into a bit more detail when discussing how this works. There's also some links in that video that are good to have if you're wanting to install this, because it's not the easiest thing on the planet to install. And before we get into channel updates and news, I have to say, having a lot of fun with this one, but man, I wish it was a game that I could buy, an expansion pack, a DLC, something, you know. I think Rockstar could make a lot of money if they went ahead and made an expansion to GTA 5, but lets you play as law enforcement. And I'm happy with what we have in the mod, but it's just that dealing with the installation process and having to update things when there's a patch, and you know, trying to find different scripts to make things work and trying to learn console commands. It's a huge pain. And I would gladly spend money on an expansion pack for GTA 5, because we really don't need a new map. You know, we don't need a new city. Los Santos is enormous. You know, coming out here into what I believe is considered Blaine County, I'm finding new areas of the game that I've, you know, never seen before every time I play, and it's fantastic. So it's not like they have to reinvent, you know, the environments. They just need to add, you know, law enforcement playability, and ideally some cooperative play for online, because, you know, often trying to rely on artificial intelligence to back you up, not always the greatest thing. So it'd be great if you could have your real life friends with you, you know, a partner in that seat there, or you know, some other friends patrolling another side of the city or something like that. That'd be great. Especially if you could then maybe even call in different services like EMS, fire. I could imagine this being a fantastic, you know, simulator of sorts for these types of things. There's a lot of games like that. They're usually kind of top-down view games, like rescue titles where you play as the fire department and EMS and you control things like that. I think that, you know, funny enough, by accident, GTA almost created a fantastic foundation for this, and modders are taking advantage of it. And I love modding. I'm glad that it's there. But again, it's just installing it all. It's just too complicated and clunky at times. It would be great to see, you know, Rockstar jump on something like this. Whether they will, I have no idea. I don't know that they are interested in the idea, let alone whether it would make them enough money. It might not, you know, because I always think that the thing that most people love about GTA is being able to, you know, wreak havoc on a city. And so going against that, you know, are there fewer people that would enjoy playing as law enforcement? It's possible, because if you watch anybody play GTA for the first time, they're usually, you know, doing all kinds of crazy things, running people over and whatever, and so I don't know how many of those people are there wanting to play as police. There's a lot you can see, because there's a whole community around this mod. There's people that play Arma Life. There are people that are into it, but again, as a business, are there enough of those people? I would say, sadly, probably not. But I don't know. Rockstar, if you're listening, I'd easily throw money at an, you know, officially supported law enforcement product. But anyways, let's go ahead and discuss a few other things in regards to what I'm doing. YouTube channel shenanigans. So I imagine by now most of you are noticing a change in the channel. I'm trying to bring back some show style content. We've got the Strafing Run on a semi-regular basis back again. We've got First Contact, which is my first impressions series, which Doesn't always end up being a true first impressions, mostly due to technical difficulties. Obviously, there's that time within a game where you got to set up your graphics and mess with things, and well, it's hard to do a first impressions when you're testing things. And in the case of Call of Duty Black Ops 3, I had a lot of problems getting that game to run properly, or well enough to make an actual video of it. So I had to go in, play a few matches, and tweak things, and then make a video. So it didn't end up being a true first impressions. More so, it was just an impressions video, which I think is okay. There's no really, hard-coded rule in regards to creating first contact. But beyond that, we've got immersive, which I think is always going to be a bit more rare. It really just depends on me finding games that truly immerse me in their world, and more so, it's an artistic video. It's a video where I kind of look at the art, the assets that were created, the textures, the models, the sounds, ambience, things like that, the things that would immerse you in a game. So again, that one will be a bit more rare. Don't expect to see that, on a regular basis. It really just always depends on a fantastic game coming out that I deem worthy of the title immersive. Beyond that, I typically try to maintain a list of flagship titles, games that have more of a permanent home on the channel. Right now, if you go to the About section of the channel page, it lists what I'm covering and what I consider to be flagship, which I think right now is MechWarrior Online, World of Warships, and Star Wars Battlefront, which may be out by the time you actually watch this video. Although I also have on the About section a warning. It says these are subject to change, because that's just how I am. My interest in games varies, and sometimes I'll play a game for a month or two, then I'll drop it, and then maybe revisit it a few months later. That's usually the case with a game like MechWarrior Online, where it just gets very repetitive. You come back for a new mech, you play with it a little bit, and it's like, okay, well, I'm done. And I think that's really their grand strategy. I think free-to-play games generally rely on, timed releases to bring people back. Like, okay, the numbers are, dwindling. Let's bring in some new content. That's how World of Warships has, survived for so long, is they keep managing to bring in new assets. And I'm trying not to laugh, but I keep seeing a police officer over there by the truck. Keep running into it and stumbling, but that's why you gotta love GTA, man. Just the glitches it has end up being hilarious. But yeah, so it's difficult for me trying to maintain a good list of titles on this channel. Some people I tend to envy, because they can cover 1 or 2 games for the rest of their lives and somehow be content. Either that, or they're really good actors. I don't know. There's a point where it's about making a good business decision. For some people, it's like, well, this is getting a lot of views, so I'm going to continue covering this. Whereas with me, it's like, well, this is getting good views, but I really want to play this too, and I love sharing what I play, so I'm going to make this anyway. Like, did I need to make a first impressions video of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer? No. I knew it wasn't going to get many views, I think it's somewhere around 5,000 plus views right now, which in the greater scheme of things is not a lot. Did I need to make that video? Was that doing anybody any favors? Does anybody on my channel really care about that game? No, absolutely not. I simply just wanted to share it. That's what it comes down to. I always say that the channel is an extension of myself, and even before YouTube existed, it was always about inviting friends over or going to other friends' houses to share games. Dude, you gotta come over, check this game out. Oh, this is awesome, and you're showing your friend the game and how it works, and you're showing them the visuals, and you're kind of just talking about, the game and the industry. you know, wishing for things and just, you know, being a kid at heart, really, you know, enjoying games the way they were meant to be enjoyed. And that's what the channel is. You know, even though I do make a living off of this in Twitch, it's still a hobby for me. And I'll always treat it like that. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to sit here and say, well, I'm only going to put out footage of this because it makes the most money. If I was like that, I would still be covering DayZ. That first impressions video still has the most views of any video on my channel, over 2 million. And at that time, the videos that were following that were doing very, very well. And that's where most of my subscriber growth came from. I was making a good amount of money from creating those videos because that was a very first impressions of the mod. That video introduced DayZ to a lot of people. And yeah, I could have kept doing that. I could be, you know, a DayZ only channel, a survival horror type channel, you know. I could have branched out and just kind of been the zombie survival horror guy, right? And then I would be filthy rich or something. But I couldn't do it because I stopped liking the game, and I just can't be that person that lies to thousands of people and pretends to enjoy something for the sake of a paycheck. I can't do it. And I could sit here and say I don't know how other people do it, but I do know how they do it. It just comes down to the almighty buck. You know, people want to make that coin, and you know, sometimes it's a business decision, and you can't necessarily blame them. You know, it's like, well, I'm making money by covering a video game that I don't necessarily like. I suppose it's better than doing something worse. Bombadil always says it's still better than digging ditches in the hot sun. Then I always say, well, what if you actually like digging ditches in the hot sun? You never know, you might. Don't offend those people, jerk. But, you know, all kidding aside, it's just not me. It's not in my nature to sit here and pretend to like something if I don't. I can't do it. I'm not, you know, that good of an actor. So that's why you see content always, you know, change. You see, you know, a swap out from time to time. And yeah, the ones that last me the longest, those are games that I'm just actually enjoying for longer periods of time. Those are games that are winning me over. But even those, you know, I can get bored of them. World of Warships, one of my favorite games, you know, lately. It gets repetitive after a while too. You know, I enjoy it. I like going back to it. I like covering it on a regular basis. But even it gets repetitive, you know. And everything does. It's just what you manage to do with it. Everything is subjective, of course. What I like, you may not. What you like, I may not. It really just comes down to your own opinion. Some people could play the same map in a game over and over again and never get tired of it. For example, Operation Metro, Battlefield 3. You would see servers, 24/7 Metro. People would jump in there, play it over and over again. Why? Because it provided quick, close quarters engagements, made it easy to unlock weapons, gadgets, items, whatever. Going even further back in time to the 90s, Quake 1, Team Fortress was a mod for Quake. And everybody would play 2 forts. That was the first map, and, well, a very balanced map. Obviously, there's 2 forts. They're exactly the same. There's a bridge in the middle. You can't argue. It's the most balanced map ever created. And so you'd get those servers, 24/7, 2 forts. And that's all you would find. And it was great because, you know, it was fun, but after a while, I would get tired of it, and I would want to seek out new maps. And so I'd be searching for other servers that actually have players on them with different map rotations. As fun as those things are for a while, there's only so much I can handle of it. But that's me. That's how I was created, right? You know, other people might differ. They might say, well, I could play 2 forts until the day I die. I could play Operation Metro to the day I die. And there's nothing wrong with that. It maybe provides less variety for a lot of people if there are more people that are of that same mindset. You know, if you have people that operate servers that feel the exact same way, and it's like, well, I'm only going to run this map. I have money to make a server, and it's my server. I'm going to run this map 24/7. Then it kind of affects people that want to try different things out. But what are you going to do? You know, save up your coin and run a server the way you run. I mean, that was always the issue for me in Battlefield. I'd always contemplated getting a Battlefield server so that I could run the maps the way I want. So I could always run hardcore mode. Like, it's gotten to the point where if you look at Battlefield 4 today, there's maybe like 20 hardcore servers. And a lot of them aren't ever populated. There might be more than that, but that's like the last time I checked it out. So, you know, again, everything is subjective. Everybody has their own, you know, needs for when it comes to gameplay. And so, you know, the same thing holds true when discussing channel politics. How I run this channel, it depends on the games and how long they maintain my interest. So yeah, when Battlefront comes out, do I hope that it'll maintain my interest for an extended period of time? Of course. I can tell you right now, I'm just in this twitchy shooter mood. I'm ready for it. It's actually one of the reasons you're looking at some Call of Duty footage right now. I'm jonesing for something twitchy. I didn't get into the you know, the Overwatch beta, so I couldn't play that. And I was thinking, like, what else is there? Maybe I could try Battlefield, but the time to kill in Battlefield is always so high in arcade mode that I end up getting frustrated. And so I was like, well, you know, here's this COD game, and, you know, I end up playing it. And right now you're looking at hardcore mode, which has an extremely low time to kill. But, you know, even the arcade mode, the core mode, the time to kill is super low in comparison to other games like Battlefield. And so I enjoy it, and it's twitchy, it's science fiction. I'm okay with that. Like I said, I used to play Quake and Team Fortress, all that stuff, very twitchy games, and really just the mood strikes me from time to time for something that's twitchy. But so yeah, I'm always looking for games that maintain my interest for longer periods of time, but never come to this channel expecting something to be permanent. Otherwise you may be disappointed, you know, and I feel bad about that, right? Because I'll have like 30 videos of a game. For example, World of Tanks. Covered it for a super long time, right? And I've dropped it like a bad habit. I got tired of it. I got frustrated with it. I got sick of everything that was going on in it. I feel like I'm growing out of games that provide that type of gameplay. Like, I can't even enjoy Armored Warfare because of invisible things. I don't like invisible tanks. I don't like invisible anything in a video game. And I think I'm just getting fed up with it to the point where I don't even want to look at a game that has such mechanics. World of Warships is a little different because it doesn't seem to be as big of a problem. Usually most ships other than destroyers are visible early on. It just doesn't seem to work the same. So it's just like, I got to find some other games that are competitive and that make a bit more sense to me. And lately, I'm jonesing for some FPS or even third person in consideration to what Battlefront will become. COD is kind of, you know, hit the spot, but, you know, with Battlefront being out, we're going to make that transition there. I'll probably still play COD from time to time because it's a different type of gameplay experience, but I think really it's going to be all about Battlefront for a while. We're going to see how that goes. Hopefully it's going to be something that'll maintain my interest for a longer period of time. You know, as we were talking about repetitive, most reviewers, that's their #1 criticism. It's repetitive, but again, it's all subjective, and often that's what a reviewer falls back to because it's the only thing that they can say. You know, there could be a billion great things, but they're going to think of the one bad thing to say. It's always repetitive. Listen to a review, watch a review, read a review, and that one always comes up. Because, again, I just feel like they don't have anything else to say. That they're not intelligent enough to really come up with anything. They can't look deeper to see, you know, what the gameplay holds within it. And sometimes you'll hear me say it. You know, you've heard me say it today. But I back it up with saying, well, it really just depends on the person. and this is hilarious. I fell off the cliff. Mistakes were made. That's always good. But yeah, we'll see. You know, that's why I always say try things out for yourself. Never rely on a YouTuber, a streamer, a Forbes article, because apparently now they're experts on games. You know, any IGN, whatever, GameSpot. Don't listen to any of these people. You don't know who's paying them. Okay, you don't know where their money's coming from. You don't know how many of them are being influenced to say something positive or maybe even negative. You have no idea. So play it for yourself. Try it for yourself. If you can get into something for free, a demo, a beta, an alpha. Obviously, I'm against piracy. I actually am against games piracy. That doesn't help anybody. I never suggest doing that. But, you know, when it comes down to being able to test something, to download a free demo, if the game is free to play, then try it out for yourself. I always find it funny. People are like, well, what do you think of World of Warships? I'll give you my opinion, but then people say, well, should I try it out? Is this game good? Well, it's. I mean, I get that some people don't have amazing internet bandwidth, but, you know, if you do, all you have to lose is a couple hours of time, you know, playing the game and trying it out for yourself. Check it out. My opinion is going to differ from yours, and we might have similar interests. You might be here because we have similar interests, but there's probably something out there that we'll disagree on. So you have to try these things out for yourself. No matter how similar we are, there's something about a game that you'll either like more than me or like less than me. Because we're all different, all right? You know, we have these, you know, different interests. And, you know, a lot of people, I'm sure, are shocked that I'm actually enjoying a COD for the first time in many, many years. But I see something here that maybe some of you don't. You might be thinking you're insane. COD is COD. It sucks. Whatever. That's your opinion. Now, of course, you could bring facts to the table to try to prove people wrong. You could say, well, this map is terrible because of this reason. Because somebody else was able to do the exact same thing, but it's a lot smoother. It looks better. It's the same game engine. Here's the evidence of that. Here are the screenshots. Here's the video. Try it out for yourself, right? I mean, that's the only thing you could really do, but even then, you'll run into people that just have different opinions. Oh, here's a rose. I like roses. Well, I don't. Okay, well, you know how it... What are you going to do? Again, just try everything for yourself. Don't even listen to me. I tell people don't listen to YouTubers. That includes me. Just, you know, look at some of my opinions and then maybe gauge your interests and think, well, I kind of like what he's showing me here. So that means I'll give it a shot. Or I absolutely just do not like or agree with anything that I'm seeing here. I'm out. You know, you could use it as a tool for decision making. If I've perhaps helped you purchase a game or maybe avoid the purchase of a game, then mission accomplished. But for me to help you in making those decisions, I have to be more open-minded. I could probably look at a bunch of videos from my past and say, wow, I was really closed-minded back then. I was really stubborn. I'm still stubborn. I'll probably always, to a certain extent, be stubborn in some way. It just runs in the family. But I still think that you can try to get in there and change certain aspects of yourself. You just have to want to, and you just have to be able to recognize your faults. Maybe that in itself is a level of stubbornness. You know, it's like, you're stubborn. No, I'm not. I'll show you. Like, you know what I mean? You're trying to change it because of that. So I guess it's funny how that works. But, you know, just in being a well-rounded YouTuber or somebody that criticizes something, you can't go on saying a franchise is terrible if you haven't played the last 5 games. Because, well, you're uneducated at that point. You're making an uninformed decision. And that reflects poorly on you because you, whether you like it or not, are influencing thousands of other people depending on the size of your YouTube channel or your stream, you know? Whether it's a hobby or not, I recognize that I'm responsible for some people's buying decisions, you know? A lot of people rely on me for an opinion. And that's why I always emphasize, check it out for yourself. Check it out for yourself. Don't listen to me. Check it out for yourself. I'm going to keep pushing that because somebody might get it and say, well, this sucks. Why did I listen to that person? And then all of a sudden it's my fault. Always consider yourself warned here. If there's one thing that I've become very good at, it's covering my own ass on the internet because I know how things roll. Also, going forward, expect to see games that you might not necessarily think that I'm interested in. Again, keep my age in mind. I'm 34 years old. That should give you an idea of the types of games that I've experienced over the years. I was doing a lot of PC gaming throughout the 90s, so a lot of the twitchy FPSs that were around back then, or were basically what I grew up with. So this is just me trying to get back into that twitchy side-strafing nature, yes, I love tactical shooters. I'm waiting for there to be a good one that I can really sink my teeth into, but until that time, I'm going back to my roots with some twitchy games here. Battlefront coming up, expect coverage of that. Maybe I'll throw down a few more COD videos here and there just for fun. Overwatch is something I want to take a look at. So, some really twitchy shooters coming up that I'm hoping are great. And if they are, then I'll share them, because that's what I do. That's what I enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your strafing run for today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Always appreciated. And I will definitely see you on the next one.